The president lied about his reaction to a vile, racist chant at his rally last night. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. There's a tendency among some in the media and in D.C. to interpret every unhinged Trump outburst as some sort of calculated political chess move designed to corner Democrats into a politically difficult spot, which doesn't make much sense. I mean, last night he tried to talk about an upcoming special election in North Carolina's 9th congressional district, and his brain melted down just trying to get those words out of his mouth.
There's another crucial election in North Carolina's 9th you know what, right? You know what we're talking about?
No. No, we don't. Trump always sounds like he went to grab some water and accidentally drank an entire bottle of Novocaine. Trump isn't some genius political chess master. He's a racist whose brain is mostly oatmeal and his mouth is attached to Fox News like some kind of human centipede. He's a wannabe authoritarian who craves the adoration of crowds, and that's why he opened his rally in North Carolina last night by telling the crowd he would be there all night because he had nothing else to do.
We have all night. We can have a lot of fun tonight. I have nothing to do. Nothing. Nothing.
Cool. We all have to work tomorrow. Seriously, you have nothing to do? How can that? You're the president. And look, on some level, it's comforting to know that Trump isn't actually doing anything. In fact, I'd prefer it if he spent all his time crawling around. That's what we want, right? On all fours like some sort of bloated possum. I mean, look at him. Looks like he just saw a chicken nugget in the wild and he's trying to sneak up on it. Easy. Don't startle the nest. Get him quick before the mama comes back. So Trump is obviously no political mastermind. In fact, last night he tried to mention Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and clearly could not remember her name.
But Cortez, somebody said that's not her name. They said that's not her name, sir. I said, no. I don't have time to go with 3 different names. We'll call her Cortez. Too much time, takes too much time.
I wonder if he uses that excuse with his kids. I can't remember 3 different names. I'm just gonna call you Ivanka and the losers. Also, I love how he can't even hide the fact that he just couldn't remember her name. His brain short-circuited so badly, all he could do was make a hissing noise.
Somebody said that's not her name.
Sounds like he's letting the air out of a balloon. Uh-oh, there go my words. This is when Trump is in his element. He gives his base the performance they want. And that's what he did again last night when he whipped them into a racist frenzy by slandering Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a Somali refugee and naturalized citizen. Trump has been attacking her all week with racist lies, and the crowd responded with a truly horrific chant while Trump just stood by.
She looks down with contempt on the hard-working American, saying that ignorance is pervasive in many parts of this country. And obviously and importantly, Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
This is one of the most vile spectacles in modern political history, a defining moment for our country, and any Republican who doesn't immediately condemn it should imagine how it will look in a history textbook years from now, because there will absolutely be a section on this, and it will absolutely name everyone complicit in it, and they will absolutely use the worst photo of you they can possibly find. That's how it works. Historians get to pick the photos. And yet, despite the fact that Trump spent the rally and the preceding 3 days spreading racist lies and telling Omar and 3 other congresswomen to go back to their countries, he actually tried to claim in the Oval Office today that he didn't like the chant and tried to stop it, which is, again, an obvious lie.
When your supporters last night were chanting, send her back, why didn't you stop them? Why didn't you ask them to stop saying that?
Well, number one, I think I did. I started speaking very quickly. It really was a loud, I disagree with it, by the way, but it was quite a chant. And I felt a little bit badly about it, but I will say this, I did, and I started speaking very quickly.
No, you didn't. When they started chanting, you just let them go. You said nothing. That's not how you stop a chant. That's how you wait in line at the deli for them to call your number. Also, you didn't start speaking very quickly. We've seen you speak very quickly. Sometimes you speak so quickly your words slur and your face turns red and you start gasping for air like a whale coming up out of the water. But this is the con at the heart of Trump's politics. He whips his base into a racist frenzy and claims Omar is the one who looks down on hardworking Americans, when in reality, he's the one plundering the government, doling out trillions in tax cuts to his rich buddies, and partying it up all night because he doesn't have to work on Thursdays. In fact, he lied to his audience again last night about his administration's repeated attempts to strip health care away from millions, and told a bizarre story about a run-in with a fellow rich guy who loves what Trump is doing, even though he dislikes Trump's personally.
A man I know who I don't like, a businessman, very, very, very successful business, one of the most successful men. I don't like him, never liked him. He never liked me either, by the way. In fact, I would go a step further. He cannot stand me. And I saw him about 2 months ago. And he came up to me. I said, "How you doing?" Very warm, you know. "Hey, how you doing? Let's get out of here." And he said, "I'm doing good. You're doing good?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know, you don't like me, and I don't like you. I never have liked you, and you never have liked me. But you're going to support me because you're a rich guy. And if you don't support me, you're going to be so goddamn poor, you're not going to believe it." Yeah.
There are a million reasons that story is obviously a lie he made up. One of which is, you're the president of the United States. Where are you just running into people? And so I was like, "Hey," and he was like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Are you getting Jamba Juice?" And he's like, "Yeah, what about you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I already ordered, but they haven't said my name yet. Just waiting for them to call my name." But that's who Donald Trump works for, the corporations and the wealthy, and he thinks he can lie about it to voters while keeping his base in line with racist incitement. For example, after the House voted on a resolution to condemn Trump's racist attacks this week and Republicans almost entirely sided with Trump, Trump tweeted this.
"So great to see how unified the Republican Party was on today's vote concerning statements I made about 4 Democrat congresswomen. If you really want to see statements, look at the horrible things they said about our country, Israel, and much more. They are now the top, most visible members of the House Democrats who are now wedded to this bitterness and hate. The Republican vote was 187 to 4. Wow."
I like when Trump tries to use a flowery phrase like "wedded to this bitterness and hate" and then immediately follows it up with something dumb like "wow." It's like if Charles Dickens had started A Tale of Two Cities with "it was the best of times, it was the worst of times." Cool! But let's not forget one important point. Trump ran on a similar style of racist incitement in 2018, and Republicans lost by a historic margin in the midterms, including in key swing states in the Midwest. So let's just remember that. Who knows what will happen in 2020, but based on 2018, there's a good chance he'll lose yet again in places like Ohio and Wisconsin and
North Carolina's ninth, you know what, right?
There's been a closer look.